I'm like, as a 19-year-old girl trying to make it in this industry, your role here is to help. Like, why are you why are you hating on me so much? What did I do to you? Like, why are you so angry? Do you, like, who hurt you? And why do I bring that up in you?
Everybody go. 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 What's the tea? What's the tea, everybody? What's the tea? Look who on time. Y'all thought because I was early, y'all thought because I had accidentally jumped on live earlier, that was like, oh, Miss Oliver finna be late tonight. No, ma'am. I done ran all my errands for tomorrow. Well, some of them. But I done ran all my errands. And bitch, I'm on time. What's the tea? What's the tea? Don't test my kitty cat. So listen, everybody. Hi. Oh, wait, maybe I should type what we're doing today. I mean, it's given very much so on time tease. He may not come when you want him, but he's always there on time. That's the tease it's given on tonight. ANTM live with Kelle Jacob. Y'all, we talking to Kelle Jacob tonight. Listen. We get into the things. And since I am currently the reigning ANTM Supreme, I find it very important to me to make sure I curate, again, a very holistic conversation and experience. Everyone needs to be heard at this point. Everybody got to be heard. And Kelle Jacob, Cycle 3, is one of the earliest injustices we fans say occurred on Top Model, and she has graciously agreed. Now, y'all know Miss Cookie's over here. I know the dog is over here, and she wants to pitter pat. Now, when I was not on live, she was sitting down. She was sitting down in her bed looking at me. But the moment I want to go live and talk to y'all, she wants to pitter pat. I'm not understanding what's the pitter pat. Thank you. Anyways, we're talking to Kelle Jacob tonight. Is she here? Ooh, she must say no, I was going to be on time. Is she here? Is Miss Kelle Jacob? Let me send it to her. Miss Kelle. Miss Kelle. Oh, no, she did. She did. Okay, before I bring Kelle on, let me tell y'all something. This is a hot... Can y'all hear me? Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure you guys hear me. And I'm here. And you guys can see my voice. Hear my voice. You guys can hear my voice and see my face in sync and in time. Okay, perfect. So like I've told y'all before, and maybe I haven't really broken down to y'all who I am and what I do in this reel. Okay, I am a content creator and I am a music artist. What is content creation? We're in Oliver Twist's world for many people that you love. Spice from Love and Hip Hop, Dr. Heavily from Married to Medicine, Qua from Married to Medicine, T.S. Madison, who's big on the internet, Funky Dineva, who's big on the internet, Shakana from Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, and many other independent businesses in this world. I am their content creator, meaning specifically I help them create online social media content, specifically usually in video. So that means a lot of times I'm filming and editing or conceptualizing. When I'm not filming, editing, or conceptualizing, I'm standing in front of the camera because, as you guys know, I am on Chasing Atlanta, the #1 unscripted LGBTQ source of entertainment on the internet. And I'm also filming for another job. I got a man. I got a dog. My ass itch from time to time. I say all that to say, top model lives for me are my escape. It's my break from the norm, the mundane, the stressful life. This is fun for me. I'm no one's interviewer. I'm just a nosy bitch with a platform and the interest and the balls to ask the girls the questions. And tonight we are talking to Kelle Jacob from Cycle 3 of America's Next Top Model. And with that, see, I always be trying to do grand things and I always end up messing it up.
Hey.
Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for agreeing to do this.
This is such a big deal for me, Oliver. Like,
Is it really?
have never spoken candidly about my experience in Top Model. Like,
Never.
It's been almost 16 years. And yeah, and I feel like there's so much there. It was such a confronting and challenging time. So I'm excited to let's go into it. Let's talk about it.
This is your first time.
This is my
speaking
first
about
time.
Top Model.
Like candidly, right? Like about the things that really matter.
And when it comes to Kelle Jacob Cycle 3, many things matter.
I know.
Kelle, I'm so curious to know what went through your brain when you got a message from this.
Well, it's funny. You have some very passionate followers. So I feel like because everyone's been on lockdown and on quarantine and now it's on Hulu, there's like a whole new generation of American Next Top Model fans. So I've been getting a lot of people. I'm like, really? Everyone's thinking about this now? And then everyone's like, have you heard of Oliver Twixt? Like, you need to go on that show. Like, we all feel like they did you dirty. You need to speak your piece. And then you reached out and I'm like, I don't know. Like, there's so much. Are we ready to talk about it? And I'm like, you know what? It's time. Let's do it.
And you know what, Kelle? I really have to love and kiss on them. I'm loving and kissing on them. Kelle, this is not a show. It just started off with me just going live with like girls, and I guess the people just liked them. Like this is my like coffee time. Like this is my kick off my shoes and relax my feet, party on down to the escape beat and just kick it.
Well, you're making an impact. Like you've got some die-hard followers, and that's hats off to you for that.
Oh, thank you. I love them. They're amazing. I appreciate them so much, and they really, really from day one wanted you to get on and talk your piece. Now, Kelle, I'll be very honest. Normally, I write down questions or I screenshot questions, but from my own personal experience watching and the flooding of questions I got from the fans, there are very like specific things they want to know. And I'm pretty sure you already know. But before we get into the minutia of it all, I want to start off by asking you.
Wait, also, you know my name is spelled Kelle, right? Kelle.
I did something wrong?
In the pin. I don't know. But yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It happened.
Let me fix it.
It was like my mom's attempt to be creative, spelling it with the E. I'm like, but you named me Kelle, but
Kelle, my brain gets like one track sometime, and I can't do many things at one time. I can't do many things at one time. I'm not that talented, so I'm like, y'all want me to talk or type? Talk or type? But okay, we got that corrected. So listen, what made you try out for America's Next Top Model? Because back in your day, it was a new thing.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I heard of the show. I had seen a few episodes, but I hadn't religiously watched like season 1 or season 2. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I had owned an art gallery, an online art gallery. So I was running that, but I had always like wanted to model, right? Like that was something that was always a passion of mine. But I came from a house where, you know, pretty girls are a dime a dozen. It's not about what you know, like, you know, mm-hmm. what you look like, it's who you are. So I never focused or like mm-hmm. in on that. And then I had done a runway show at NYU. And one of the girls I was in the show with, she's like, I'm auditioning for America's Next Top Model. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, there's a big audition like tomorrow. So I'm like, oh, I'll go, I'll check it out. And like, at best case, I can live out like a childhood fantasy. and become a model and have Tyra teach me the ways, you know, and at worst, at least people will know who I am and they'll know about my gallery. So for me, it felt like a win-win. I did not see all the possible other things that could have gone on, nor do I think I was prepared for like the level of competition and the world that is reality TV. But yeah, I remember I stood in line for 6 hours. I was number 783. I still have my little sticker.
You still have it till this day?
I still have it. It's at my dad's old apartment. And I remember we stood in line for 6 hours. We finally get into this room and there's like 60 girls like shoulder to shoulder, and the camera like pans around, and when it faces you, you say like your name, your age, your height, and your weight. And you have girls like, I'm the fabulous age of 19 and I'm the marvelous height, you know, and I'm like, hi, I'm Kelly. And they're like, all right, thank you. We'll get back to you in a few weeks. And the casting director, I think it was Michelle, she tapped me on the shoulder and she's like, you stay. So I had to stay in a room like while they saw the rest of the girls. They saw like over 1,000 that day. And they had a handful of us do the full interview. They're like, what do you do? And all of this. And I think from that day, only me and Yaya had gotten selected. But I think we auditioned the same day.
Oh, nice. Nice. So
yeah.
Do you remember what months the show was filmed? Someone just asked, and they always want to know what months was the show filmed. I don't know why they want to know, but they want to know.
It had to have been summer because I don't think I would have stood outside for 6 hours in the cold. So yeah, it was definitely summer. So I feel like it was, you know, probably like July, August, and then it aired, I think, in September.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
And so you guys fly to Los Angeles, right? You guys went to LA for audition week. What was that like for you?
So audition week is really interesting. I feel like they kind of brush over it in the episode where they're like, you know, you're going to go through a few tests. We went through intense testing. Like, I mean, personality tests. You're seeing a psychologist. I've never done so many psychological tests. I feel like by the end of it, they knew more about me than I probably did. No, seriously. Like, even after being in corporate America too, like, we do so many things like Myers-Briggs and all these tests to like develop teams. Like, you start to understand now looking back, just the organization and magnitude of reality TV. It's all constructed. And so I feel like that's where they kind of take their top picks of like, okay, someone seems interesting. And then they start to kind of know you deeper and see what kind of threads they can pull. And then we have different scenarios where, you know, they definitely instigate. They're like, so so-and-so said this about you. I'm like, I'm not thinking about so-and-so. I'm like, well, what'd she say? And then they put you in a room. It was intense, but it was fun. I mean, that I have to admit was the first time, like at the end of it, we had our first shoot with Mr. J. And I went into that show, never had any issues with my mouth, never had any issues taking pictures. That was the first time I found out that there's something about the way you're holding your face. And that I feel like was the beginning of the end for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Kelly. Up until that point, had you really received like much criticism about yourself in like from anyone, like just from anyone?
Are you kidding me? You know, it's very interesting. This is going to kind of touch on something which I know everyone wants to talk about too, about me saying I'm like a white girl with a really good tan. So another thing I feel like that they don't show, or the other side of that, is I grew up in Seagate, right? Like, we were the first Black family to live there. And prior to moving in, there were petitions about not letting us move in. They tried to pay our contractors to burn our house down. People shot at our windows. I remember my mom, who's, you know, from the civil rights era and like from Camden, New Jersey, she's like, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. So we stayed through that. But for being from like 4 years old, growing up in an environment where you are just like, people have such hate for you just for what you look like. Going to school, no one would ever think I was attractive. Like, that was just like not even a thing, you know? And then even growing up, like I said before, my family was all about, you know, pretty girls are a dime a dozen. Like, what else you got? And, you know, you say, like, do you think I'm pretty? Like, you pass in the crowd, but what do you know? And so that was just never something that I leaned on so much. And I think that's probably, you could talk to me in like 5 seconds and know I have insecurities about that. And I think that was something the judges picked up, or not even just the judges, but even the producers. And that just, they're like, oh, that's a soft spot. Let's keep poking it. And then you have me crying in a mirror. So. You
know what, Kelly? I feel like someone had noticed your weak or soft spot and just decided to just poke it and poke it and poke it and exploit it and exploit it and exploit it. And I don't know if the people thought we were going to not like Kelly because Kelly was, it seems like she was always crying or she wasn't always doing as well. But it was like, no, I'm sitting at home looking like you guys are terrorizing this lady. Y'all are terrorizing her.
And you know what's crazy? It's like such a controlled environment. Like once you get into the house, you can't talk to anyone about the show. And everyone that you encounter is in on it. Like I remember, so from that first shoot with Jay, and like, you know, what are you doing with your mouth? And I'm like, I don't know. It's there. Like it's just I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like do something different. I'm like, all right, like that's a thing. And then I remember it was the shoot before the lead jean shoot. And I'm in makeup, and the makeup artist's like, oh God, what are we gonna do with your face? And he's like, you sit here, we're gonna do everyone else's makeup before we get to you. And I remember and then you see all these pictures where it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. And like Tyra's like, fix it, go in the mirror and fix it. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know what's happening. Like I literally thought I was losing it felt like the Twilight Zone. But you have I don't know. I honestly think there's a reason too that you have to be under 25 to do that show. Like there are parts of your brains that aren't developed. You're young. You're thinking like you are very susceptible to drinking the Kool-Aid. Like I wish I could go on the show now. But I have to say, you know, like that for me is a bigger life lesson. It's like how many times have you been in scenarios where it's kind of set up one way and you're like, you just know something's off.
Mm-hmm.
And like it really takes you to have the confidence and the nerve to say, you know what, this is wrong. Like, this is not right. Like, I know my truth and I don't need you to know it. And that took me a long time to learn that. And I'm grateful for the show in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't anticipate learning that so publicly, but, you know, but I feel like if anyone else watches that and you could just see like, no, this is wrong. Like you could see from the outside looking in, it's harder when you're in it. But if anyone can see that, like look at any other situation in your life where people are trying to do you dirty.
Right. No.
And you got to stand up for yourself.
No, you have to stand up for yourself. One person who did not mind standing up for themselves during the audition week that everyone seemed to have a problem with was Eva the Diva. What was your experiences like when you first met Eva the Diva during audition week? And yeah, like, because Eva was making everyone upset or making everyone cry or feel away.
No, I feel like Eva had a lot to say. She said her piece. She did things. I mean, it was funny too. I was watching. I hadn't watched it, but like preparing for this, I started watching the season again. And, you know, they make it seem like we were all talking about her, but the producers always asked us about her. Do you know what I mean? In order to, I guess, create the content, to create that thread. I feel like Eva's ever know. Like, if you had something, you had a soft spot, she was going to poke it. But it was a competition. She was playing her role, so.
Were you present for that big bar fight that happened with Tiffany and that random girl?
No, I think my group went bowling or something like that. Our group wasn't there. But
oh, right. Because you weren't old enough to be in the bar yet, were you?
I was 19.
Gotcha. Well, Kelly, you missed out.
I saw like she poured a beer on my week. Poor Tiffany. She tried. She was trying so hard.
Was she really?
Yeah, like she really wanted to change. Like do you know what I mean? Like she really wanted it. She didn't want, like she was tired. Like I felt for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Reality TV is hard. I think people forget that it's not, I think I went in very naively, like this is a modeling show and Tyra's going to train me. Like Tyra will understand me, you know? And like, I think a lot of people, this was such the beginnings of reality TV where you can start seeing different types of people and you could see yourself and those misfits. Like you found a place, someone that will get you. And I went in like, okay, well, Tyra will show me the way. She'll understand me. Maybe people in CA didn't get me. Maybe some Black people think I'm a little whitewashed, but Tyra will understand, or, you know, and you thought you'd be welcomed with open arms, but then you realize it's reality TV and there's a TV show to run and they're not here to coddle you. They're not here to be your friend. They're here, like, if there are soft spots, they want to dig in them because that's what makes good TV, sadly.
So are you saying that, like, you didn't feel like you got the guidance that you were expecting from Tyra or whoever was supposed to do it on the show? You felt like you didn't get it?
No. No. But like, what's even worse, though, when I think about the show, and most reality TV shows, that is, you know, I think there's this thing of like, well, during Tyra's day, we have to wear bad shoes and you have to be able to do this and it's rough and it's going to be hard. And so we're going to make you feel that pain. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way. Just because someone hurt you doesn't mean you have to now torture everyone else that comes after it. I don't know. I just feel like now, like our generation and younger generations, like we know things. You don't have to continue broken systems in that same way. So that's my only resentment of the show. I feel like the opportunity they had to do things differently.
Did you share any moments with Tyra that like were not seen that could have lent itself to some type of comfort or, hey, Kelly, you know, girl, just...
I think the times when she empathized with me of like having a similar upbringing and knowing what it's like to be different. And we talked about like, because I hate it so much. Like you have terms like Oreo or whitewash, and it's just one way. You just think it's like this Black girl that's trying to be something else. But there is so much that that person had to go through that no one talks about. And here you have an opportunity in reality TV to like be the voice to people and like have them have representation of themselves. And rather than show the kind of full complexity and dynamic of their situation, you only choose to show the part that, you know, feeds into a stereotype. And I think that was a missed opportunity, because especially now, like the people that reach out to me and like say, thank you. Like it was so like, I saw myself, you know, I grew up the same way. People used to say the same thing, like for them to really see themselves in their fullness, you know, through that, I think that was a big missed opportunity.
Gotcha. Kelly, I just want to say it is so great. It is really great to hear you speak and how, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's all I have to say. The people, they know when I really like something, I just say, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So listen, first photo shoot is in Jamaica, which I thought your photo was actually really good. I thought you had one of the better photos. When I looked at the photo, I didn't think about a penis on a whatever. Take us back to, if you can, and remember what it was like walking into judging that first time, and you start to hear this exchange of opinions from the judges, and it's the production, it's the waiting, and it's the this and it's the that. Take us back to that moment.
Yeah, you know, I feel like there must have been some feedback even after the little mini shoot we did with Jay in LA, because I was scared already going into that photo shoot. Like I felt like I knew had to do something differently. So some seed had already been planted. And then it was just hard. I think in the photo shoot, like I don't know, I like am in my head all the time. I think so much. Like that's
me too.
That's my blessing and my curse, I guess. So I was already very nervous and in my head. And it's also very weird too. Like I'm sensitive, it's probably the entire world knows because I cry like the drop of a dime. But I'm also sensitive to like other people. Like I can sense when someone doesn't like me. And I think I learned that even being in areas where a lot of people didn't like me, and just out of safety, like you learn to pick up on energy. And from day one, Mr. J did not like me. So I was not going in to like friendly arms of like, all right, here, photo shoot, go ahead, girl, shine. It wasn't any of that. It's like, what you got now? No, that's awful. And it's like that, you know? And it's crazy now because I worked for Estee Lauder afterwards, and we would hire models and hiring models and working on shoots. You'd never want to do that to a model. So that was just like a crazy situation that they just did to me. I don't know. They just messed with us. So let me get back to your question. Yeah, going into it, I was already scared because I knew I didn't feel on. Like I didn't feel like I was bringing my best. I felt just like anxiety about the whole thing. So, and then to see the picture. But I also realized though, like that's the only shot you could choose. And that's when I realized it wasn't just about, I strongly felt like it wasn't just about me putting out my best shot, because I'm like, there are other forces at hand here.
Were there any other comments that were said that we did not hear?
Let's see. Let's go back to the feedback. So I looked like I had a penis. I looked like a platypus, I think Janice said. At one point, Janice said, I think it was the shoot with the roller skates. She said I look like a crackhead who burnt her eyelashes off in a freebase accident.
She would know at that time.
I'm like, how do you know what that looks like?
She would know.
What, 19-year-old? I'm like, what do I do with that feedback?
Do you
Um,
think it was Janice being Janice, or that's how she strongly felt?
I think that's Janice being Janice. I
Gotcha.
have to be honest. Everyone's like, you know, Janice owes you an apology for things she said. Of all the judges, I don't hate on Janice. Like Janice, because even after the cameras were off, she's like, you know, I still love you. Like she was playing a role. Do you know what I mean? And like she was the only one that like, but like the curtains came down and she was like a real human afterwards. Everyone else, I'm like, oh no, I'm pretty sure you actually hate me.
Listen, I did a chat with Amanda Swarford earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Amanda?
Yeah, of course. I tuned in a little bit. It was a long one, but I caught
Girl,
the
we
gist of
were
it.
on. I said I'm not doing that with Miss Kelle Jacob. I'm not doing that with Kelly. I'm going to behave. I'm going to sit down in one spot, and I'm going to get through this. But she said that in a deleted scene that did not get shown, you guys participated in a colon cleanse that
Oh my,
was.
can we talk? This is like the thing about, so of course, I'm like, let me readjust here. So this is the thing about a controlled environment, right? So you're already like younger, you're coming in with the context of like, I want to win, like I want to be a model, I have this dream, and these people are the way to this dream, right? Tyra's gonna help me, I'm gonna learn something, you know, I'm competing, I have the best of the best, this is my opportunity. So you come in with that mindset, totally open. And then you have people that know kind of like your soft spots, that are already kind of forming stories around that have nothing to do with the goal that you're going after. Then on top of it, the day we move into the house, we get an alert. And Tyra, I think that the mail was, you know, to be a model, you have to be healthy from the inside out. And I remember we go to this spa and they put me on this bed and I start filling up with water and the cameras come in and I'm like, I refuse. I refuse to take a shit on national TV. And I'm like, I'm not, they're like, you gotta release. I'm like, I'm not doing it. It was the worst thing. But like, do you understand just psychologically, like, it's kind of like, who's in control? Like, you don't, like, I don't even, like, that for me is like the greatest mind fuck I can even imagine. Like, I'm sorry, I cursed. But yeah, and it starts there. It's crazy. And then it just gets worse. And then like everyone that you encounter is like, you have, it's like, it wasn't for the faint of heart. Um, but I don't know, it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger, right? I think that's what I said when I got eliminated. You know, honestly, I had to learn. I honestly believe that life is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens for you. And in some way or another, whether I had to cry on that camera so people can realize things, you know, that are unfair in their own lives, or just to, whatever I had to brunt or come through in some way was for a purpose. But I don't know, it made me who I am now. So
Kelly,
can't
so
be mad.
Kelly, you said so you were laying on the table and the people were filling you up with the liquids. And the cameras came in and you were like, no, ma'am.
Nope. Nope. Let me explode. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not. That's crazy. There are limits.
That is funny. That is hilarious. Wowzers. Okay, so did you think you were going to go home in Jamaica when they were like, at the end of this photo shoot, someone's going to go home today? And they won't even make it back to New York City. Did you think did you think you were going, or did you guys know Magdalena was going? Because Amanda said she knew Magdalena was going home.
I know, but Amanda has like a sixth sense. She was like, I don't know, she was like connected to the universe and like new things. I don't know. It was anyone's game because I mean, at every point, I think in my head, like I knew I struggled during the shoot. I knew I wasn't as, I never came across, nor I'm just not that type of person of like, I'm the best, I'm going to do all this. I was just kind of, I'm like, we'll have to see what happens, how this rolls. I was kind of going with it. And was I bottom two? Do you remember? No, it was a breakfast or something. And then someone didn't get a chair or something like that. I don't know. I don't really remember.
I just watched it and I don't remember. Sorry. But let's, okay. So another question that kept coming up was you saying the term
Yes.
monkey mouth.
Yes. I didn't say monkey. Okay. Yes. Yeah. That was so ignorant. It was so ignorant. Like, I can't even. But I do want to say it was so ignorant. It was like, it was just ignorant because it was just like, it was ignorant. It was ignorant. And it was ignorant because for all the reasons. But I have to say, I want to, if I can, separate that from the race conversation. I feel like so many times it gets combined with me crying in the mirror at my own reflection. But that, like, you know, and then me calling myself monkey mouth, and it's like she hates herself because she's Black. That's not it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, my skin is, always will be, I think, my greatest feature. And that wasn't where that came from. That was from day one, being told there's something with the way you're carrying your mouth and the angles, and something with your profile, like from day one. And then every picture it came up. And I actually remember when they were going around, I'm like, what am I going to say? I'm like, I know it's my mouth. Maybe I should say horse mouth. Well, if I say horse mouth, I know Julia Roberts says that. Then they're going to think, like, I remember this conversation in my head. And then that came out. I'm like, why would I say that? I was like, oh God, it was the worst. It was so bad. And I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to anyone I offended in that. I'm sorry to myself. I mean, that was just a very ignorant thing that I have to live with forever, that I said.
But
I have to say, Tyra did show me grace in that moment, though. You know, when she's like, all right, Curious George, and you just know you have to switch it. Because I feel like she understood that I wasn't saying it, like, do you know what I mean, in that way. It wasn't coming from that place. And so I do appreciate her for that, and like being able to like show me grace in that really ignorant moment.
Yeah, like, I mean, with watching it, just, you know, getting a sense of your personality from the TV screen, I think, Kelly, you saying monkey mouth, you're not coming from a place of, you know, trying to be offensive or thinking your Blackness is whatever. I think that was probably the only thing you could think of in that moment. And, you know, you're just talking and,
like,
you know.
Why didn't I say horse? But it was also like, you know, it's especially knowing that this is something that Black people have, like, that is like, do you know what I mean? That it's been used as a derogatory term towards Black people for, you know, especially African Americans, for forever. So to say that, that's where the ignorance came. Like, it was just a very ignorant thing to do, and it was just very short-sighted. I wasn't thinking at all.
Well, it's beautiful that we're here now, and you're able to articulate yourself and explain yourself, and all things have been fixed now.
Yay! Oh, I feel like a weight's been lifted. I've been holding that shit on for 16 years.
Girl, raise your hands and say hallelujah. So we go to episode 2, which is another big controversy surrounding Miss Kelle Jacob, and it's the beauty photo shoot, the close-up beauty photo. Yeah. And your photo comes across the screen, and it gets the comments that it gets. However, fans many years later notice that when they're doing your package during your photo shoot, they can see the monitor, and fans have gone in, girl. Like, they've gone in and extracted those photos some type of way and was like, see, Kelle actually was taking very, very amazing photos. Did you think in that moment you were taking amazing photos?
I knew there had to be, well, I would say too, I've also saw the monitor, I'm like, I know there were better pictures, but I will also say, like, my head was not in the game, right? Like, not that it wasn't in the game, but I came in, like, scared. Like, you can't, like, you know, when you're modeling, when you're doing anything, you gotta, like, feel it. You gotta be in your flow. Like, you gotta, like, you go in there. And I feel like if your confidence is being shot at every single second, and everyone's like, we're struggling here, Kelle, give us something more. And it's just like, it was a battle. I get in my own head, and I feel like the judges got in my head. But I knew there were better pictures. I'm like, honestly, this is like no makeup. Like, I've got good skin. Like, can I just stand there? Like, how bad is it?
Have you seen those photos? Like, have people sent you the photos?
I saw them on the monitor after the show. So, and I even brought it up in one of the panels where I'm like, I thought I saw better pictures on the monitor. And then Tyra, like, totally let me have it.
What's she saying?
She's like, are you saying that the judges are choosing the wrong pictures and you're trying to put this on someone else? And I'm like, not exactly. I'm just saying that there were other pictures.
Mm-hmm. I know. I remember that, girl. I thought she said something more.
What did she say? Remind me.
Oh, no. I just remember her saying, you know, take responsibility. Like, she was like, you know, don't put blame on someone else.
it's like, don't you, honestly, I felt like I was losing my mind. I'm like, am I going crazy? And then I think that's when like the other girls, because they were like, wait a second, like, you're right, Kel, like, you know what I mean? Like, there it was. I think the other girls started feeling sorry for me after a while. Like,
do you know, so here's what I think, here is what I think happened. I think Kelle came into Top Model with not the best confidence in the world. And a story still has to be told some sort of way. Someone has to look like a hero and someone has to look like a failure. And why not now let me keep this train of thought. So why not easily use Kelle as a person that we can send home and, you know, whatever to make, you know, to fill out the story and, you know, she's struggling.
Send me home sooner. Why keep me there to torture me?
Well, we know on Top Model, they keep the girls around to torture them. And especially if you're... I'm just saying, I'm not laying.
Is that me? Okay. There you are.
But then, you know what? I also think, too, out of conversations I've had with other contestants, I don't know if this is true because I was not there, but other contestants I've talked to on these chats said that them walking in with confidence they believed is what caused them to have a negative experience on the show. And specifically, I'm speaking to Eugenia. She was like, you know, I walked in, you know, with confidence, and she felt like they were purposely trying to do things to humble her because potentially, now I don't know this. I ain't never met nobody. I don't know nothing. Ain't nobody told me nothing. But they said that on the show, if it seems like Black women who are confident and or educated and can speak well and know who they are, they get a hard time on the show. Do you feel like this is what happened to you?
Well, I don't think I came in there like trying to take anyone's job or like I got that, you know.
But you could be intimidating.
Like, what?
That came out wrong. I can see how you could intimidate people. I mean, I can't help my pants are Gucci. There's nothing wrong with that, but to other people who aren't confident in themselves, that could be intimidating.
It's funny. I learned that afterwards. When I was at Mac, I spent a lot of time with makeup artists, and they were like, girl, let me explain to you what was really going on. They're like, you need to understand, it's not about what you do to people, but you oftentimes are like a mirror standing up to people of all the things that they may not be. And it is very confronting, and it makes people angry, and they react to that. But you need to learn it has nothing to do with you, and to not take that on. And that was something, why couldn't Tyra tell me that? That would have changed everything. But like, you know, how do you learn not to take on other people's, like, I can't, like, you know, what I'm doing, I'm sorry if that upsets you, but this is kind of who I am. Like, I'm not the type of person, I don't talk about people, I'm not trying to bring anyone, like, go ahead, girl, shine, do your light. Like, Tyra, with my clients, like, I want everyone to, like, you know, so I'm like, why are you so angry at me? And I never understood it until it was explained to me that way. I don't know. And I also feel like it goes back to like the things people in that industry went through. Like I had to struggle, like, girl, you're going to struggle too. And maybe me coming in with Louis Vuitton luggage and wearing my Gucci pants and, you know, and all the things, whatever, it was like, you need to struggle and now is your time. So maybe it was like, they felt I deserved it, but I'm like, I've done my, you know what I mean? Whatever. I don't think that's anyone's responsibility or role to do for someone else.
I can't pinpoint exactly what episode or what caused it, but I remember this montage of where people was just like upset with you and you were like crying and crying and crying.
Oh,
I can't specifically remember the montage right now. It's not coming to me. Fans, I'm reading the comments right now. Educate me right now. Did you have anyone you were close to in the house that really, you know, you could speak to and connect with?
Oh my God, Toccarra. Toccarra was my girl. I remember Toccarra, she came, got me out of the bathroom crying. She was great. And even after the show, we stayed in touch for a while. Amanda was always sweet. I feel like I would talk to the girls one-on-one. There was no one, like, there was a time, it was after Jamaica. So I remember we were coming back and someone, I forgot who it was. They were like, oh my God, I like your pants. I'm like, oh, thank you. They're like, where are they from? Like, I don't remember. They're like, no, where are they from? Like, I don't know. They're like, no, well, let me just check the label. I'm like, okay, they're Gucci. Then it became that, like, fast forward back in the house, all the girls in the room talking about me. And like, I'm just sitting there crying, like, I don't understand. Like, whatever, like, they're just good. But I also feel like a lot of people thought that I was just like some rich girl and my parents bought all this, but I was 19 running my own business. So I say those two things because I was 19, so I was making money, but I was 19, so I was spending on like Gucci pants. And like, you know what I mean? That wasn't something that no one's handing anything to me, you know? When I after my parents, you know, my parents did a lot for me. Like my mom sent a fortune, sending me to private school, making sure I went, you know, had the best education. And then I decided I didn't want to go to college. That just didn't feel right to me. And like I said, my mom's from Camden, New Jersey. She's like, well, then you ain't just sitting your ass here. Like, you're going to have to work and do something. And so I started working for an art gallery, and I got the idea to start selling their art online. And when I saw how well that did, I'm like, so I'm telling you what to buy, and I've opened up a channel for you to sell it. Why am I doing this for someone else? So I wrote a business plan, got a really cute outfit, went to Chase Bank, and applied for a loan. And I asked for $50,000. They gave me $5,000. And I'm like, all right, that's enough. My website won't have Flash, but it's a start. And I started my gallery. I got 2 pieces, turned it into 3, turned it into 5. And I started making a profit that way. And then, yes, but then at the same time, here I am, this like 19-year-old Black girl going to like Christie's and Sotheby's, like bidding on pieces. So I had to look the part. So I invested in clothes and looking the part, and I did that, but no one showed that. So I think you just see parts of it, but there's so, which is sad too, because I feel like, you know, after the show, all the talks and things I would get hired to do, no one cared about how I took a photo. They were more interested, like, how are you 19 running your own business, and how do we do that? And like, why not share that with people and empower them? I just feel like that may have been a miss for Top Model.
Well, that's freaking beautiful, Kelly. That is amazing. Hell no, they weren't going to show that. You crazy? No, they weren't going to show that. They were not going to show that. You know what? So the petty side of me, okay, let me tell you, there's 2 sides. There's really 3. There's like a neutral side. There's like a really good side. There's like a petty side. So the petty side of me says that you were too much for Tyra Banks to handle. That's what the petty side of me says. That it could only be one Black girl next door here working right now. Eva was, not Eva. Yeah, Eva was, she was rough. Mm-hmm. Yaya was very, but Kelly was the closest to aesthetic that Tyra gave. And the petty side of me says that you were too much for the girls to handle, which is why they gave you a hard time. But I wasn't there. The good side of me says, I don't know. I want to ask you more questions about your relationship and your experiences with Jay Manuel during this time, because, and I don't need to go into like specific details, but there were just so many instances where it seemed like Jay was showing that he wasn't fond of you, like you won a challenge. It was like, okay, girl, Kelly won. And then it was like, well, girl, I don't feel like hearing Kelly cry today. I'm tired of seeing Kelly cry. I don't want to see Kelly cry. And then it's even a moment where you were like, well, hey, can you please let me know if I'm doing a bad job? Because I don't want to think I'm doing a good job, then I get to panel, then I get annihilated. And then it was like,
no. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What is your take on you guys' relationship during the filming of Cycle 3?
I don't know why. Like, here I am, and granted, like, look, what I do, my like work wise, like I'm kind of like I'm only child, so I'm used to being heads down. I just kind of tinker away, and I am where I am, right? I work hard and I do that. In this situation, I'm coming in like, I don't know. I'm very comfortable in saying, I don't know how to do this. Help me. And here is someone, and I look back at it, like, especially as an adult, because I'm probably his age now, is when I was like, that he was when he was, a judge then. I'm like, I was a 19-year-old girl trying to make it in this industry. Your role here is to help. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you hating on me so much? What did I do to you? Like, why are you so angry? Do you, like, who hurt you? And why do I bring that up in you? And I think, again, it goes back. And this is something I talk to my clients about all the time. Like, you really, like, people, you don't understand how much power you have. And it rubs some people the wrong way. And it rubs them in a way that they may not even be able to understand. And they just come out that way. So there was something deep in him that did not like me. Maybe I hurt his mom in a past life. I don't know.
Girl, the people trying to mess with the Wi-Fi. They're trying to mess with the Wi-Fi.
Hey.
Girl, you have frozen my end. And like,
I
you,
saw
you were
you
frozen. What'd you say?
I saw you were. That's my phone now.
Oh, yeah. You were definitely frozen on my end. So I just had to start talking. I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait till she comes
sorry.
back. I'm so sorry.
I was just saying, I don't know, something about me, I guess.
We were talking about your experience with Jay Manuel's reaction to you while filming.
Yeah, he really did not like me for whatever reason. And I can't, like, and the thing is, I've seen that. Like, you ever, I don't know, this might be getting a little too, like, philosophical or whatever, but I feel like there are themes in life. Like, it reminds me of, like, Seagate and dealing with racist people that just hate you for, like, reasons that have nothing to do with you. And it's, like, in Top Model, I experienced that with Jay. I'm like, why are you like this? And I don't know why, like, you know, then in corporate America dealing with it. And I don't know why it's, like, my soul's journey to be confronted with these things and forced to overcome it. But I don't know. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I always go back to that. But there was something in me. But I tell you, I swear, I think if there's anyone that ever watched me and, you know, felt that, if you could pull any inspiration from it, just know that people project their own insecurities onto you. And that is not something to take on. And that is what I look back at young Kelle on that show and am grateful that I got stronger to not be as sensitive to take on other people's things. Because some of that shit doesn't belong to you.
You know, Kelle, that is amazing. And what you just said will bless a bunch of people. And I really want you guys to really take heed to what Kelle said. A lot of times, in a lot of situations, people will make you think it's you, when, to be honest, it's them, and they're being faced with their own insecurities. They're looking at their own demons. They're looking at unresolved issues from people who've hurt them in the past. And instead of dealing with that, they are taking out their aggression and their baggage on that person. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone, Kelle. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. So let's talk about some of the drama that was going on. There is a montage that happens. I can't figure out what episode it happens, but the girls are battling, and Kelly's like, "Where's my sunglasses?"
Oh, oh my God! Yeah, it was the runway. It was the runway competition, and Eva won. And which is like funny.
Why?
No, because like that was one thing I thought I could do. Like even when I auditioned, I'm like, I may not be able to take a picture, but I can walk. But anyway, Eva won, and Eva's like, Eva chooses me and Anne to go, and I'm like, yes, I need
like on the yacht. It was like a boat ride or something like.
I'm like,
yeah.
I need like, oh, happy day. I need some time away. I could use this. This is like exactly what I need right now. And this has happened during the time when I think Amanda thought her crystals got stolen. And so there's all the drama. They're fighting. And I'm just like, I really have no time for this. We have a yacht to catch. And I have to go on. Do not move.
We have a yacht to catch.
I'm like, this is just petty drama. We have a yacht. Like, there are more important things to do. And like, I was just honestly, like, after all of those beatings and like after all of that, I'm like, nope. Bob's gotta go. Not today. Couldn't even see it.
Kelle, you were a complete mood. Like, you were such a mood. Like, I was watching it in 2020, watching you. You were like, we have a yacht to catch. And then it'll be chaos. Where are my glasses? Like,
yeah, you were my sunglasses. Like you.
You were amazing, girl. Amazing.
Ain't nobody got time for all that drama.
No.
And that's like even in the house. Like I wasn't fighting with anyone. I'm not thinking. In most cases, I think that's maybe the only child thing. Like I'm just focused on like, what are we doing right now? It's like, all right, come on, we got like no. All that petty stuff, no time for that. Let's focus. Unless someone like criticizes me and makes me cry.
I want to ask you about something I didn't ask Amanda about. Remember that fight with Jennifer and Eva and Anne? And Jennifer pushed her.
I don't know. I was just probably like on the side like, ooh. I don't know.
Any behind the scenes tea about that?
Not that I like. Well, I think, you know what's interesting? Like, you have a lot of strong women, right? Like, strong personalities, very confident women. A lot of them, like, no one's trying to be walked over by anyone, and it's a competition. And I think tensions were high, and I think a lot of people may have been, because, like I mentioned, like, even if you weren't talking about Eva, like, she was brought up in all of your conversations. And so I think at some point tensions get high, and people are like, well, I'm going to stand my ground. And so they did. I don't know. I just went like, oh, she pushed her.
Oh, that would make sense. No, that makes sense. That makes sense what you just said. What you just said about them always asking about her. I can see how that could play into the psychology of a lot of things.
Do you really think in my like interview, like episode 1 in California, that I would choose my time with the judges to talk about like no one would bring that up.
They had to ask you, okay, what about the whole entire fight with the crystals? Now, when I spoke to Amanda explained it. I'm going to try to make a long story short. She said that Eva was in charge of laundry.
Yeah.
And she said Eva had passed out the laundry to everyone, and hers wasn't there, or it didn't show up. And something about the crystals. I don't remember what Amanda said, but she said that's what made her think it was Eva, is because she was the one who had dealt with laundry, and her laundry had gone missing.
Yeah.
What's your version of the crystal fiasco?
I don't know, but that was the same day as the yacht, and Amanda was like, be careful. Be careful. I'm like, she's going to corrupt me? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like maybe we were bored, right? Like, we didn't have, there's no TV, there's no anything, so people need, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it. I'm like, you'll find them.
Kelly, when that photo of you popped up on the screen during the Levi shoot.
Oh my God, and they published it.
You know, back then, Top Model was a new show. So it's like, the people are more amped to believe, you know, maybe Kelly just can't take photos. Maybe that's the photo she took. But in 2020, I'm like, there's no way. That is the best photo that woman took that day.
Awful. Can I also say something else? So that was also the same shoot where the makeup artist like, sit over here. We have to save you for last to fix your face. And I'm like, what? Like, I've now been in the beauty industry for what, over 10 years. That is not like, you need to fix my face. Anyway.
Do you remember the makeup artist?
I don't know if it was Matthew. Was he still with us? I don't remember. But they're like, we need to fix your face.
She is there.
So I'm last. And then we go on the shoot and we're lying down. And I remember the photographer kept calling me out. And he's like, Kelly, fix your chin. Put your chin up. And I'm like this? And he's like, yeah, like that. And so you get me like that as the shot. And I'm like, I don't know. It was awful. And that was like in Us magazine. Whatever.
And I mean, I was gonna say, you know, Mr. J was sitting there. He can see the photos come in. You know, why didn't he stop you and be like, "Hey, girl, you need to work it out so you can get a new photo"? But you said he wasn't really fond of you, so he wasn't gonna save your ass.
See, this is what I have to work with.
Did you think you were going home that episode?
I'm like, it's crazy. I'm like, is this what like Michael Jackson went through and like why he got plastic surgery? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people telling, like, can you imagine everyone you encounter like telling you there's something wrong with your face, when in fact there is nothing wrong with your face. In fact, it's kind of cute. So like, it's just crazy.
Did you think you were going home that episode? I thought we were going to send you home.
But I hoped I was going home. So many episodes. Like, I was tired. Like, it was just like the Twilight Zone. Yeah, I thought I was going home that episode. The thing is, the reason why I say I hoped, if I were on the show and having bad photos, but I felt like there was hope, like I knew there was a way to get better. I knew I was going to work on this thing. I knew that I was getting good advice. I knew that, like, but there was just like, it just seemed so like there was nothing. There was no support. There was no, I didn't know what I was doing wrong. Like Tyra said, go look in the mirror and fix it. I'm like, I think I look fine. What do you see? Like, I'm missing it. Like, I can't fix it. So it just made it, I'm like, so what am I doing? I'm like, you know what? This is, and I think tears, I realized too, being sensitive. Like, sometimes it's your soul telling you, like, girl, this is not, like, this is something is very off in this situation. Like, very off. And
well, Amanda told us in our chat, she said when she got her retouched photo, she said it seemed as if they accidentally forgot freckles or like forgot to remove some freckles that were like in her hair. But that was her, I think she said that was her unretouched version. Like it was like freckles in her hair, meaning they had gone in and done something to her unretouched thing. You know, y'all, people that are watching, I'm starting really to really see the matrix of it all. Like, and it's almost making me not want to make Top Model my favorite show of all time, because it was my favorite show of all time because at the time I'm thinking this is reality, like this is what's really going on. But it's like, you motherfuckers have sat down and have Crayola created something that's not the freaking case. And I'm also getting mad because you guys are doing it with real people with real lives and real emotions.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. And trust me, like, I lived through a lot of that pain. But you also have to understand, like, where Top Model was, right? Like, this is the beginning of reality TV. And I think at the time you had, like, The Real World and Survivor. And for Top Model, like, it was the first time you saw different types of people, right? Like, when I went on reality TV, everyone just had these very specific stereotypes of, like, what a Black person was. You had like the blonde cheerleader. You had like the really, like, it just really stereotypes. And I feel like Top Model in its way, and look, it's early days, right? Like,
prehistoric.
They didn't know, right? But then but you have to give them credit for at least opening it up to like a different type of people, right? Like Mrs. J, you know, when did we see a character like that to identify with? Like even Tyra. So yeah, there were look, it was the time. It was reality TV. Like that's what they were all these shows were doing. I mean, and they were young, and like, would I have done it differently? I would hope so, but I'd say that now at, 16 years later, and like in the world we live in now with reality TV where people will call you out in a second. But back then, it was just a different time. It is what it is, but we're all here now. We're all okay.
Were there any critiques? Let me ask first, were there any positive critiques you ever got from the judges that they did not air?
Well, I got a lot of positive critiques from people that were not within like the controlled environment. Like when I won La Perla, I'm like, you see, I knew this place was rigged. Like, do you know what I mean? Like anyone outside from our world that would come in, it would be like,
Kelly's amazing.
Yeah. Anyone from the outside world, anyone within the confines of the show is like, oh, the beast. But who gave me my body? My walk was good. It's really just photos and like confidence. But like, who could be confident when like everything around you is telling you you're not great?
Right. So you finally get eliminated. And Kelly, I will say, to be quite honest, I mean, in some photo shoots, your photos were better than Anne's. And I don't have no problem with Anne. I just have a problem with Anne's performance doing cycle 3, and she stayed until the final 4. That's what I got a problem with. Like, your roller skating photo, to me, wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't that bad. Your jumping photo was better. Your photos were better than Anne's.
Yeah. But it's not a modeling competition. Like, I think that's like the biggest thing that I took away was like, here I'm like, okay, it's about being a model. All right, I'm 5'11". The time is like, I'm 130 pounds. Like, I'm poised. Like, I could speak well. Like, I think I'd be a great representative, like, of a brand. Is this what you're looking for? No, we're not. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't about that, right? I think when you start looking at it, is like, we are really trying to find the girl, because in reality was a lot of girls found it hard to want to become America's Next Top Model, to find work, because your experience on the show supersedes the brand that you're going to work for, right? So that becomes difficult, so it's first and foremost, it's a reality TV show. And
so before I ask you about your post-top model career, did you travel with the girls to Tokyo?
No. So when I got eliminated, they had us all at a hotel. Someone had asked that question. And they had us all at a hotel in the city. I think it was the W. And we had to stay there until they left for Tokyo.
And then when they left, they sent you guys back home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you knew nothing about them getting detained in Tokyo and then having to sleep on the floors in Guam.
No. And I stopped watching the show after I got eliminated, so I didn't see
So let Kelle Jacob tell it. She don't know who won Cycle 3.
I still don't know. No kidding. No.
What were your thoughts? Oh. That is funny to me.
Like,
Kelle Jacob said, bitch, I stopped watching that shit. I wasn't finna watch that. I know that's right. I'm not even gonna waste your time asking you about what happened after you left. So once you left the show, did you embark on a modeling career? Like, did you try to model?
No. What was... No. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Wait, I shouldn't say that. So Source magazine had reached out to me because I think other people saw, like, there are other good pictures. So I did a spread for Source. I didn't try to pursue a career. But what was crazy is so many people, like colleges, reached out to me about how I was so young and started my own business. And so I literally traveled the country speaking to colleges, young people, about how to start your own business, how I did it, understanding, like, yes, I had this show and this happened, but at the end of the day, I also think that was a little bit different how, I went in, like, even if this doesn't work, I want to become a model. I think that'd be great and great to learn from the best. But even if not, at least we'll know who I am. They'll know what my gallery is doing. This is only helping even the bigger business. So I did that. And then I went to speak at Hunter College. And they're like, do you want a degree? And I'm like, I don't need it. I'm like literally teaching college. I don't need to go. They're like, we can make it easy, take night classes. And so I did. And then Tyra had her show. And as you know, we signed on Lifeway for like 5 years. And so I'd be flying back and forth. I'd be running my gallery during the day with my team, go to school at night, fly on the weekends to LA, tape a show, come back, and it just became a lot. But no, I've never modeled. I did a few things for Lauder, but like as an employee, because I was there for like 10 years.
What was it like dealing with people and their ideas of who you were on the show and then them actually interacting with you? Was there anything that superseded you?
Well, it depends on like if you watch the whole time. Because I feel like towards the end, like I'm pretty easygoing, right? Like I don't know. I feel like they tried to frame me as like a villain and like this uppity girl that like looked down at people, but I'm not like that.
Hey, Kelle, can I ask you a quick question right fast?
Yeah.
Because I just heard you say something too, and the people in the comments, when you said you were flying back and forth to tape a show, you said Tyra had a show, and you were flying back. What show you talking about, girl?
The Tyra show. Remember she had a talk show?
Uh-huh. What about it?
We were like, she would use us as her guests, as on the talk show.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no worries.
We leave no stone unturned over here.
You say you're not an interviewer. You are
no, girl,
a journalist over here.
Well, see, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. I am a nerd of the things I like, right?
Good.
So, like, all the nerds are here watching. There's Reddit pages for certain things. My favorite is Wikipedia pages. Like, I love reading the specific Wikipedia pages about shows and things like that. So, like, Top Model I treat it like it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I'm just collecting all the cards. I want all the cards so I can bust a bitch over the head and like, bam, I know this and you didn't. That's all it is. That's all it is. I'm just a nerd and a fan of Top Model. That's all it is.
I love it.
Thank you. Is there anything that happened during your time on Top Model that you said, dang it, I wish they would have shown that? Or that's not how that happened?
I wish they wouldn't have just like said the part, you're just a white girl. Like people used to say, I'm just a white girl with a really good tan, and making it seem like that was like, I'm so proud of that. I think there was so much more to that. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that paints a picture of like, oh my God, I'm actually just a white girl with a good tan. And like, that made me happy. I think if you look at it, like, sorry, just take a little context a little bit. You know, when you grow up in a place like that, when you're so young and you're an outcast, all you want to do is belong. Like, you want to assimilate. Like, it's very hard. People are like attacking your family and, you know, being called the N-word every day and doing awful things to you. And you get to a point where you are accepted, even if it's backhandedly, you know, and like that was a sly comment. That's not even like appreciating my blackness and saying it that way. But as a young person, you know, 7 years old, finally someone's talking to me. And so I said, like, I explained the whole story, but they only chose that part. And I think it paints me as someone that doesn't take pride in their blackness. And that is not the case at all. And never has been. Oh my God, when they did like a Where Are They Now? And they had to interview my parents. Oh, that's when I saw like the tantrum come out of my mom. It's like, you know,
I don't remember that little featurette. What happened?
I don't think they showed it.
What did your mom say?
She came out in Mary Piggies and she was like, oh, hell no. I'll tell them. Do they know what you did? And I'm like, oh God. Yeah, because when I got living, I'm like, oh my God, Al Sharpton's going to come for me. But luckily, people saw through that because it's not the case. And I just feel like that for me was like the biggest miss, especially with the way I see Top Models, this opportunity to show so many different people that haven't been seen or showcased before and like allow people to see themselves in. Why do it in such a short-sighted way and just feed into stereotypes? I think they could have done so much more with that. A lot of us.
When was the last time you saw or spoke to Tyra?
I don't know. Like probably one of her shows, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't talk to Tyra.
Gotcha. What about any of the judges on the show?
I used to see Nigel a lot. He was really nice. He felt bad.
He did.
Yeah, like, cause like, you know, I live in the city, and so I would see him like a lot of different events, and he's like, you know, you are so beautiful. He's like, it was like a hard one. I'm like, I know, it's water.
It's fine. It's fine. Have you seen Mr. Jason?
Oh, someone from Camden's in the house. What? Have I seen Mrs. J?
Have you seen Mrs.
Oh, I have seen Mrs. J just out like in the city socially. Mrs. J is great.
Mm-hmm. What about Mr. J? Have you seen him since filming? Oh, that sucks, I guess.
It's okay.
And so what are you doing now in life, Kelly?
A lot. So like I said, I was at Lauder for 10 years, developing products, actually developed several brands, got to work with Victoria Beckham, developed a lot. Actually, you know what's really funny? Talk about full circle. There was one episode where we had to wear the CoverGirl makeup and do our own makeup. And Tyra, we were under the lights for like 8 hours. And by the time she got to me, a lot of it had like gone away. And she's like, as a model, as a woman of color, you need to know that you can't wear makeup like everyone else. And you have to put it on more intensely and all of this. And honestly, I feel like that in itself, like, is what was wrong with Top Model. Like all these old things, Tyra, like people having to put you down, you wear a size 6 shoe, you have to like, you know, struggle through that. Like, that's because you have to do that. Doesn't mean everyone has, like, don't encourage a broken system. Change it. So literally after I went to college, I ended up working for Estee Lauder for MAC Cosmetics in product development. And one of my first projects was developing eyeshadows and makeup that look good on darker skin tones. So that is no longer a problem, Miss Tyra. And so I did that for a while. And then I left. And you know what? Remember I was telling you about like themes in your life of like, sometimes you have to like, no matter what's going on around you, when you know something is not right, it's not right. Right. Mm-hmm. And like, I think the more people tap into that kind of inner strength and like that all knowing inside of them, amazing things happen. So I left Lauder and I've actually started a whole wellness company where I actually work with clients, helping them tap into it, whether it's the career you want, the relationship you want, how to tap into your power. And I feel like the reason I had to go through, maybe I had to go through it so publicly and come through it, even if I have to be the example, but just so people that it's possible. And I help my clients do that. And it's been amazing.
That was so freaking amazing. I just had a talk with Alicia White, who was on Cycle 18, US versus the UK girls.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the same thing. I said, you know, Alicia, I feel like maybe you had a public experience so that you could be a light to other people and you can show them, yes, this can happen, but you can also come out of it and be better than what you were and inspire so many other people. So Kelle, girl,
I'm doing it. And like, can I tell you, when I see my client, like, honestly, I feel like being the person that I needed then, and like everything happens for a reason. Like the reason I'm sensitive, it's so I understand exactly where my clients are and like what they're feeling, and being that voice of like, sometimes you just need someone that sees you for exactly who you are and isn't afraid of it. And it's like, yes, go shine brighter. And like, it's amazing. And a lot of it's due, like, you know, you can do things like meditation and like your diet and all of those things, but it's really helping people tap into that power to make their lives fabulous. And I had to learn it the hard way. So
2020 Kelle, if 2020 Kelle had the opportunity to speak to Kelle back then, what would you tell her?
What would I tell her? I would just tell her, girl, you are fine. Don't worry about these people. You got something so much bigger than you. There's such an amazing life. Like, I mean, I got to live in Shanghai. I have patents. I've got amazing people. I have an amazing boyfriend who I think is watching. You know, like life, I've gotten to travel the world. Like, don't even stress this. And I would also, that lesson I learned about taking on other people's things, I think especially when you're, I'm not even just say sensitive, but like an intuitive person or empathetic person, like you pick up on things, but not all of it is yours. And trust your gut. Like, I think if I'm crying, like there's something wrong. Like, this is not okay. Do you know what I mean? And like trusting myself in that, because it's not, I think everyone else watching is like, girl, they are doing you dirty. But when you're in it, you can't see it. And I think of how many situations I've been in or people have been in where you like just know something's off, and how do you start to trust your gut? Because honestly, I think that's the only way we're going to get through all of this.
If you were standing before Tyra Banks today in 2020, what would you tell her?
I wouldn't tell her, be like, girl, let's talk. What was really going down? Like, what were they, like, what was you? Because I do believe, like, just, I don't know this for a fact, but I would like to believe that when Tyra started this show, that her intention was genuine. Like, all right, like, you know, I've gotten this success. I want to help people and I want to do that. I think along the way, it probably became more a reality TV show. I don't know. I just want to understand. I'm like, what is really happening? Why did you do that? And I want to ask Mr. J, who hurt you? Like, what was, like, why did a little 19-year-old girl make you, like, feel so much anger and resentment? Like, what happened? I just want to understand.
I was about to be so shady, but I'm not.
Really? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, girl, do you really want to understand? Do you care to understand?
I do. You know why? Because I realized that none of that has anything to do with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was gonna happen. Like, I strongly believe life is not something that happens to you. It happened. Like, that was whatever role I had to play, whatever karma. Maybe I had to go through that, but I don't understand. Like, what? Maybe you should look at yourself. Why did you have to be that way?
We have these 3 fan questions at the bottom. Let me ask them right fast before I go. Okay, I mean, girl, I'm not gonna waste your time, Kelle. You already answered them. You already answered them, Kelle. Let me tell you something. This live chat I did with you was so beautiful. I mean, I don't know what I thought I was gonna expect. I mean, I really never expect anything. You know, like. So to everyone out there watching, I never really screen everybody. I kind of just jump in their inbox, DM them, and then we set up a date and time. You know, I don't ask them no questions. I don't get on the phone with them. Sometimes I have, you know, in the past, if, you know, it's the chemistry is there or whatever, or the people just really want to talk or, you know, whatever, get a feel and vibe. But, you know, I don't ask any questions. So as you guys are watching and listening, I'm watching and listening. And Kelly, this was such a beautiful live that you did. I hope and pray that someone watching this is touched and inspired.
Yeah, reach
by
out
your...
to me. I'm like here. I honestly feel like everything happens for a reason, and like everything I've gone through, everything that I am, everything that I know, everything that I've learned, I'm here to teach, right? Like I'm here to help. Like I want to support people, and it's even like the products I develop, like how to develop better products. Like there's so much coming down the line. Like I'm excited, and I'm really grateful to you. Can I tell you, like this has been this like little thing in the deep depths of my closet that I never talk about or open or look at, and like to bring it out and like have it here and have this conversation and talk and get it all out, and you being so supportive and such a super fan. Like, thank you. I'm really grateful.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You girls were my childhood. You girls were my everyday. So it's a pleasure and it's an honor to have this opportunity to spend time with you all. Thank you. And you guys trusting me with your stories and your experiences. So thank you.
Yeah. And have people follow along, go to Asbury Wellness if anyone wants to hear more tips or wellness and like hear more, because the journey, I'm telling you, is just beginning. There's still so much ahead.
Everyone, please send virtual hugs and kisses and a big round of applause for the beautiful, and the radiant Kelle Jacob.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, Mama.
Good night. Bye.
That was so amazing. That was so amazing. Listen, I'm not going to upload this to my YouTube today because I gave you guys too much content, I think. I premiered the Amanda video, which was like 2.5 hours, and then the Alicia White video premiered, which was like 2 hours. I'm not going to give you guys this video tonight on YouTube. Rest, go to sleep, okay? Go on a date with your man, walk the dog, cook some pasta, watch Charmed, catch up on something, go stream Sugar by Oliver Twixt on Spotify, iTunes. But you won't be getting this video tonight on YouTube. I'll upload it tomorrow. Listen, guys, it's always fun. It's a pleasure sharing these moments with you all. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys so much for your love. Thank you guys so much for your energy. I'm about to go, I don't know, rest. I've been working all day. I've been running around. It's time for me to rest my body, lay my shape down. Listen, guys, love you guys so much. Be safe out there. Be safe, be safe, be safe. And remember to motherfucking pray and kegel that kitty, because we don't need no cats on the loose. Come home.